When asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest. Have you ever asked someone for help, explained exactly why it mattered to you, and still got nothing more than a polite, "I'll see what I can do"? No follow-up, no action, no real help. It can feel frustrating, even personal. But often, the problem isn't that people don't care. The problem is that your request was framed entirely around your needs. And here's the truth. Most people are not mainly motivated by why something matters to you. They are motivated by why it matters to them. That doesn't mean people are selfish or cold. It means they're human. Everyone has limited time, energy, attention, and patience. Your request is competing with their deadlines, stress, goals, responsibilities, and personal priorities. So if your ask is only about your urgency, it may sound important to you, but it may not feel important to them. That's why one of the most powerful communication skills is this. When asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest. This does not mean manipulating people. It does not mean using fake compliments or pretending your request benefits them when it doesn't. It means understanding the other person well enough to connect your request to something they already care about. People are far more likely to help when they can see how helping you also helps them, supports their values, improves their reputation, saves them trouble, advances their goals, or makes them feel useful. For example, imagine you need a colleague to review a proposal before it goes to a client. A weak ask would be, "Can you look over this? I really need to get it done today." That's polite, but it's centered completely on your problem. A stronger ask would be, "Could you take 10 minutes to review this proposal before I send it to the client? Since you worked with them last quarter, your feedback could help us avoid missing anything important and make the final version stronger." This version gives the other person a reason to care. It recognizes their experience. It connects their help to a better client outcome. It makes them feel relevant, not just used. The same principle applies when asking your manager for support. Weak version: "I think we should try this new process because it would make my job easier." That may be true, but your manager is probably thinking about performance, risk, deadlines, team productivity, and results. A stronger version: "I'd like to test a new process that could reduce the back and forth on approvals. If it works, the team could move faster, avoid repeated corrections, and give you better visibility into what's ready for review." Now the request is no longer just about your convenience. It's about speed, quality, and management visibility, things your manager likely cares about. Same idea, better framing. The mistake many people make is assuming that if their need is real, the motivation should be obvious, but it usually isn't. You have to translate your need into the other person's language. If you're talking to a boss, they may care about results, cost, risk, deadlines, productivity, and team performance. If you're talking to a coworker, they may care about fairness, workload, recognition, collaboration, and not being blindsided later. If you're talking to a customer, they may care about saving time, saving money, reducing stress, gaining confidence, or looking smart to their own team. If you're talking to a friend, they may care about connection, trust, appreciation, loyalty, and feeling that their effort matters. Self-interest does not always mean money or personal gain. Sometimes it means identity. People like to act in ways that match how they see themselves. A person who sees themselves as wise may enjoy giving advice. A person who sees themselves as generous may enjoy helping someone in need. A person who sees themselves as a problem solver may enjoy tackling a challenge. A person who sees themselves as a leader may respond to a chance to guide others. So when you ask for help, one powerful approach is to sincerely recognize the quality you're asking them to use. For example, "You're really good at explaining complex things clearly. Could you help me understand this?" Or, "You have a strong eye for detail. Would you be willing to review this before I submit it?" Or, "You've handled situations like this before. I'd value your perspective." This is not empty flattery if it's true. It's respectful recognition. You're showing the person why they, specifically, are being asked. That matters. People are more likely to help when the request feels personal, meaningful, and suited to them. Before making a request, ask yourself one simple question. What's in it for them? Not in a cynical way, in a thoughtful way. Why would this person want to say yes? Maybe helping you saves them trouble later. Maybe it helps them achieve a goal. Maybe it gives them influence. Maybe it makes them look good. Maybe it lets them use a skill they're proud of. Maybe it supports a value they believe in. Maybe it strengthens the relationship. Maybe it simply makes them feel useful. If you can't answer what's in it for them, your request probably needs work. Consider a common everyday situation. You want your roommate to help keep the kitchen clean. You could say, "You never clean up. I'm tired of doing everything." That might be honest, but it will likely make the other person defensive. A better version would be, "Can we make a quick cleanup plan for the kitchen? I think it would make the apartment less stressful for both of us, and neither of us would have to deal with a huge mess at the end of the week." Now the request is not framed as an accusation. It's framed around mutual benefit, less stress, less mess, less resentment. Or suppose you're asking a busy mentor for advice. Weak version, "Can I pick your brain sometime?" This is vague and asks for time without showing much respect for it. A stronger version, "I'm trying to decide between two career paths, and your experience in this field would be extremely helpful. Could I send you 3 specific questions by email? Your perspective could help me avoid making a decision blindly, and I'll keep it concise." This works because it makes the ask clear and manageable. It shows respect for the mentor's time. It makes their experience feel valuable, and it gives them an easy way to help. That's another important point. Appealing to self-interest works best when the request is specific. People are more likely to help when they know exactly what you need. "Can you help me with this project?" feels vague and potentially exhausting. "Can you spend 15 minutes reviewing the first page?" feels manageable. "Can you give me feedback?" is broad. "Can you tell me whether the opening paragraph is clear?" is focused. "Can we talk sometime?" is uncertain. "Could we talk for 10 minutes on Thursday about the client presentation?" is concrete. Specific requests feel safer because the other person understands the commitment. A strong request usually has 4 parts. First, be clear about what you need. Second, make the request manageable. Third, connect it to something the other person cares about. Fourth, give them a respectful way to say no. For example, "Could you review the introduction by Thursday afternoon?" Your feedback would help us make sure the message lands well with the client. If your schedule is packed, no worries, I can ask someone else. That request is clear, relevant, and respectful. It says what you need, explains why their help matters, and acknowledges their time. This matters because pressure often creates resistance. When people feel trapped, they look for a way out. But when they feel respected, they are more open to helping. Some people worry that appealing to self-interest makes a request less genuine. They think, shouldn't people help just because it's the right thing to do? Sometimes they will. But even when people want to do the right thing, they still need to understand why their involvement matters. People are busy. They're distracted. They're overloaded. A good request cuts through the noise by answering the silent question almost everyone has. Why should I care? That may sound harsh, but you ask the same question too. When someone asks you for help, you quickly evaluate the request. How much time will this take? Is it important? Can I actually help? Will this create more work for me? Do I trust this person? What happens if I say yes? What happens if I say no? That calculation is normal. So when you make a request, help the other person make that calculation in your favor. Show the value. Show the impact. Show why their help matters. Sometimes that means emphasizing mutual benefit. If we solve this now, it'll save both of us time later. Sometimes it means emphasizing reduced risk. Your review could help us catch issues before they reach the client. Sometimes it means emphasizing recognition. I'd love to include your perspective because you understand this audience better than anyone. Sometimes it means emphasizing ease. This should only take 5 minutes, and I've highlighted the exact section where I need your input. Sometimes it means emphasizing shared values. I know you care about making this process fair for everyone, and your support could help us get there. The key is honesty. Do not say, "This will be great exposure," when what you really mean is, "Please work for free." Do not say, "It'll only take a second," if it will actually take an hour. Do not pretend something benefits them if it doesn't. People can sense when a request is dressed up as a benefit, but is really just a burden. And once they feel manipulated, trust disappears quickly. The best version of appealing to self-interest is rooted in empathy. You're not asking, "How do I get what I want from this person?" You're asking, "How does this request look from their side?" That shift changes everything. Instead of dumping your problem onto someone else, you build a bridge between your need and their motivation. Here's a simple formula you can use. I'm asking you for because, and it will help with. For example, I'm asking you to review the client summary because you know this account better than anyone, and your input will help us avoid surprises in tomorrow's meeting. Or, I'm asking if you can cover the first half of the shift because I know you wanted extra hours this week, and it would help me make an appointment I can't move. Or, I'm asking for your feedback on this presentation because you're great at spotting unclear points, and I want the final version to be sharp before leadership sees it. Notice how each request makes the other person feel relevant, not used. Relevant. That difference is huge. When people feel used, they resist. When people feel valued, they engage. And once someone helps you, don't forget the final step, appreciation. Not a lazy thanks, but specific appreciation. Say, "Thank you for reviewing that. Your comment about the opening really helped me make it stronger." Or, "I appreciate you stepping in. It saved me a lot of stress, and I know it took time out of your day." Or, "Your advice helped me avoid a mistake. I'm grateful." Specific thanks reinforces the value of their contribution. It makes people feel that their effort mattered. Even better, close the loop. Tell them what happened because of their help. The client approved it. The meeting went smoothly. I used your suggestion. That saved us 2 hours. You were right. This turns a one-time favor into a stronger relationship. In the end, if you want people to help you, stop making requests that are only about your urgency, your stress, and your goals. Those things may be real, but they are not always persuasive. Instead, frame your ask through the other person's perspective. What do they care about? What do they gain? What problem does this help them avoid? What value does this support? What outcome becomes better because they got involved? Appealing to self-interest is not about being fake. It is about being considerate. It shows that you understand the other person is not just an extra pair of hands waiting around for your instructions. They are a person with their own priorities, pressures, and motivations. And when you respect that, your requests become more effective. So the next time you need help, don't just ask, "How can I explain why I need this?" Ask, "How can I show why this matters to them?" Because the most successful requests don't sound like demands. They sound like opportunities. They make the other person feel capable, valued, and connected to a meaningful outcome. And when people can see themselves in the benefit, they are far more likely to say yes.